Hey there everybody, and welcome to another episode of Crystal Cards. I am Brian Mead, and this is Season 2. That's right, I'm going to do a whole nother season, so a whole nother brand new set of Crystal Cards are going to be coming through the next year, the next couple formats, the Tachyon through Hidden Arsenal 7, which is going to drop here in a couple weeks. But today, being that this is going to be my first episode of Season 2, I'm going to start doing something that I haven't done before, and that's admit my grave error. My grave error is this: I, along with a lot of other people, thought that the deck that I'm going to profile for you today was dead. That's this one. Windups. Windups have been hit by not one, but two ban lists in a row. Zen Mighty is completely banned now. You know, Windup Magician limited to one. It's kind of amazing when you think about it that a deck that has been hit twice by consecutive ban lists is still considered to be one of the top decks that's out there, right along with Fire Fist, Mermails. The whole reason for the loop this time is embarrassing on TV. MX Saber Invoker. This guy shot up in value from an $8 card to I heard people today at my local saying a $40 card for MX Saber Invoker. So this little secret rare massively shot up in value because it has the ability to bring out more X Sabers and flood the field. You can still OTK, you can first turn Shockmaster, you can do a lot of nasty things. And so we're going to look at that. Another thing we're going to look at today, boom, I'm going to start I wanted to talk to you guys today about Playmats. I've been talking to a lot of people lately have been getting really interested in Playmats, getting custom Playmats done. Not only do I do this, but I have a couple other friends that do it. We're going to show you guys just kind of what Playmats are out there, what you can have, because I personally think that personalized Playmats are awesome, and it's just one more way that you can customize your game, not just your deck, not just your sleeves, but your playmat to being something that's just for you. And I'm going to show you the playmat that I printed up for myself. I'm going to show you why and just how customized you can make it for yourself. So this is Crystal Cards. Enjoy the new opening. Here you go. So, alright, so like I said, we're going to talk about windups, and here's the windup deck. I hope you guys like this profile. I've been playing this deck. I had multiple tournament wins and tops with this already. I've only been playing it for a matter of weeks, and I actually personally said that I wasn't going to build windups. I thought the deck was just too broken, and that's coming from a guy who played in Zectors. I thought windups were too broken. So that's why I chose not to build the deck for a long time. Now it's been neutered down a little bit, now I'm going to play it, and I can still do amazing things with it, which means you can still do amazing things with it. Here's the profile. Okay, so for starters, of course, we got our one copy of Windup Magician. Windup Magician is just absolutely, amazing for windups because you hit a windup effect, special summons one out of the deck, and just starts your loops. 3 copies of Windup Rabbit. Windup Rabbit is the immortal windup monster. Really, it's not going to leave until you decide it's going to leave. Also, it's a Beast Warrior, which means it's searchable by 10 key, which, as you'll see, we run in this deck. So, yeah, Windup Rabbit, 3 copies. 3 copies of Windup Rat. I've seen some Windup decks lately online that only run 2 copies of Windup Rat. I just don't understand that, because Windup Rat's pretty much a monster reborn. Also, I combo my Windup Rat a lot with my Windup Rabbit, where I'll use Rat's effect, bring a monster back from my graveyard, then use Rabbit's effect, banish the Rat, usually overlay into a Levier, bring the Rat back again, and special summon another monster with it. Just loops up. So, then 3 copies of Windup Shark. Windup Shark, This card is so easy to get now, it's ridiculous, with it being a Cosmoblazer reprint. On top of that, special summons out all over the place. I pretty much always am searching these with my factories. If you get, if you can open with a shark and one of a handful of monsters, you can, just shut your opponent down right from turn 1. So shark's amazing. 1 copy of Wind Up Warrior. You heard me talking about Evoker. Warrior is Earth. Warrior, level 4, fits the bill. So does Wind Up Soldier. There's a slight difference in the effects of Warrior and Soldier, so we'll just cover those right now. Soldier can only pump himself up. He pumps himself up by 400, which will make him a 22 5-star. That makes him a beater. He can get over a lot of stuff, including like a Cyber Dragon if your opponent had dropped that or something crazy. So Wind Up Soldier is awesome. He can deal some good damage. On top of that, he can make himself level 5. He's Searchable by Invoker. The Wind Up Warrior, on the other hand, has a higher defense, can't get quite as high, he's only got 1200 attack. However, he can increase the level of any Wind Up monster you control. It means you can make your Wind Up Rat a level 4 Xyz. You can use him to make a Wind Up Magician a level 5 Xyz. So, yeah, he's great. 2 copies of Summoner Monk. This card can actually set, as part of that, what I was talking about with Shark, it can set up massive, amazing plays in this deck, and massive damage. So, 2 copies of Summoner Monk, because you're only allowed 2. And finally, 1 copy of Brotherhood of the Firefist Gorilla. I run Gorilla because I have a lot of problems with back row and needing to destroy more back row. A lot of people need more monster destruction, so if you're in a metagame where you need more monster destruction, Firefist Bear. But I'm currently in one where I'm needing more back row destruction, so I go with Gorilla. That doesn't mean that I'm not willing to run Bear, it just means that for me, where I am right now, I'm running Gorilla. Onto the spells. 1 copy of Dark Hole. That's a surprise. Monster Reborn, again, a huge shocker. 1 Pot of Avarice. Just an all-around good card for windups. Set yourself back up. 3 copies of Wind Up Factory. Wind Up Factory, I mean, if you can open with Factory 10 key or Factory Rabbit or a handful of things with Factory just sets up your plays. So it's just amazing, and I can't even imagine running anything less than 3. 3 copies of Fire Formation 10 key. This I've gotten a lot of questions about, so I'm just going to clarify this right now. First of all, if you open up with those 2 cards, that's a rabbit out of your deck and a factory. It means you're instantly searching. If you open up with Tenki and Rabbit, it means you can go right after the Gorilla or Bear if you're playing the Bear, and do amazing things that way. If you open up, just Factory and Rabbit, obviously, you have the place. So, on top of that, on top of having, the Gorilla effect where I can pop off more back row, I can search more, I'm constantly thinking my deck, this is just another one of those spell cards that I can discard for that Summoner Monk and do even more damage. So 3 Tenkis is absolutely great for this deck. As long as we're doing the 3 thing, 3 copies of MST. Like I said, I have massive problems with back row in my area. A lot of people like to run a lot of traps nowadays, so between my Gorilla, 3 MSTs, and a Heavy Storm, I have lots of back row destruction in my deck, which just becomes necessary for me. Nothing's worse than getting a Fiendish Chain right before you're thinking you're going to OTK. Onto the traps. 2 copies of Mirror Force. 2 copies of Dimensional Prison. 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole. 2 copies of Torrential Tribute. 1 Solemn Judgment. 1 Solemn Warning. And 2 copies of Fiendish Chain. Now, if you were counting, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 traps, which is a lot of traps. If your opponent has a Jinzo or a Decree, it can screw you up. However, you don't have to worry so much about like a Decree, because if they have Decree, it probably means they don't run traps, and those 3 MSTs, your Gorilla come in real handy there. You know, so I really think that with this deck, this is one of those decks that's great to run a ton of traps in. One copy of MX Saber Invoker. Some people think, you know, go two, but I am all about the versatility in my extra deck, and usually I only need one, and if I really have to do the Invoker thing again, I can always get it back with Avarice later on, so one Invoker seems to be fine. 2 copies of number 61 Volcanosaurus. This card is just broken. It just gets work all the time, can just do massive amounts of damage, and it can still attack as long as it's not attacking directly. So, you know, like, if your opponent has 2 monsters out, you blow up the big one and attack into the little one, just massive damage. Not to mention rank 5s are just really easy to get out in this deck, so Volcanosaurus is great. 1 copy of Wind-Up Zen Mayo. A lot of people are now saying, you know, don't run Zen Mayo. He's still a wind-up monster. I still get effects, like I can still get a factory effect off him. I can still get a magician effect off him, you know, towards the end of my string of combos. Not to mention, he can pop more back row, and he can pop those set monsters, so yeah, Zen Mayo's great. 1 copy of Gaga Magician. You know, sometimes you just gotta get that little bit of burn in there at the end. 1 copy of Utopia, number 39. Once again, you know, this is really what I go into when I just need a bigger rank 4, because, you know, 25 is pretty decent. 2 copies of Photon Pamperioptic, whatever, the butterfly, butterfly assassin. This is how you're going to put your rats into attack mode. If you don't know the combo, I'm going to go through the combo here in a second, but this is a huge part of the deck, so you kind of need them, and I really think you need 2 if you're going to run it. So 1 copy of Stroke the Symphony to Jin. This card's just amazing. 1 copy of Levier the Sea Dragon. 1 copy of number 20 Giga Brilliant. 1 copy of number 17 Leviathan Dragon. 1 copy of number 16 Shockmaster. This is an absolute must for this deck right here, because this card just wins so many games by itself. I run 1 copy of Wind-Up Zen Mains, just 1. I really don't need to go into it much more than that. And finally, 1 copy of Tears, the Keeper of Genesis. So really, I'm going into rank 3s, 4s, and 5s all day long. Alright, so I said I was going to go into the combo. I was going to explain how to do this OTK combo. So really what you're going to need here is you're going to need to just go all crazy right off the bat. A Summoner Monk and a Wind-Up Shark. Everybody knows how to do this with Wind-Up Shark, Wind-Up Magician, so I'm not even going to cover that, but the Summoner Monk actually gives you an extra bit into it. So I really actually like opening with Summoner Monk Shark even better than opening up Magician Shark. On top of that, you're obviously going to need a spell card to discard for the Summoner Monk, so we're just going to say that I have a Spirit Tenki in hand. So you open with Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk automatically switches to defense mode as soon as it's summoned, so boom, there it is in defense mode. Now I'm going to go ahead and activate Summoner Monk's effect. I'm going to discard that spell card to the graveyard, and when I do, Summoner Monk is going to let me special summon a a level 4 monster from my deck, and I'm going to go with Wind-Up Magician. Okay, Wind-Up Magician's effect. Because Wind-Up was summoned, I can reveal the shark in my hand and then special summon the shark. This will activate the Wind-Up Magician's effect, and at this point you're going to want to go into your deck and you're going to want to find one of those Wind-Up Rats. The Wind-Up Rat's going to go into defense mode. I'm just putting it here because lack of space, camera, and get it all in here for you. Okay, so I got the rat in defense mode now. Now I'm going to go ahead and overlay the Magician and the Summoner Monk, and this is going to get me my Photon Butterfly. Now I'll detach the Magician in order to switch that Wind-Up Rat to attack mode. Now I can switch the rat back to defense mode, which will activate its effect, and let me special summon that Wind-Up Magician again. Now Wind-Up Magician's effect can be activated again to special summon another monster, so now I'll activate that Shark's effect and I'll lower it to level 3, and that activates the Magician's effect. At this point you can choose to go into a couple of different monsters. You can choose to go into a Mad